Hi FlossTube, welcome to my channel. My name is Robin and this is my channel Lady Robins. If you are a new friend and subscriber, welcome to my channel. I'm really happy that you're here. And if you're a returning friend and subscriber, welcome back. I'm glad to have you here as well. It is a beautiful day here in my neighborhood. I have beautiful sunshine out there. I've already seen bunnies twice in my yard, so that makes me happy. And we're going to be hotter than places on Saturday and Sunday here in the Pacific Northwest. We might be almost 90 degrees. So think cooling thoughts for us on Sunday and Monday, because it's going to be a scorcher is what the weather is predicting. So I have a finish, I have a start, and I've got updates on my WIPs and my plans for June coming at you. So I'm grabbing my coffee. I have got an Americano here in my mug. This is one of those yummy Starbucks You Are Here mugs. This one my sister gave me for my birthday years ago. It's for the University of Washington, my alma mater. And it's also where my son is going to school. He has 2 quarters left, and then he will be a graduate, and then onto the job hunt and, you know, your career path, right? So we are excited for him. We're also looking forward to the summer. My husband has about 3.5 weeks to go until he is officially a retiree from Boeing. And I'm trying not to get too excited and plan, you know, like a billion things for him to do. I want him to figure out how to sleep past 5 a.m. That's our first goal. Figure out how to sleep past 5, because he gets up at 5. It's sheer madness, friends. It's madness. Okay, hey, grab your beverage. I'm grabbing mine. Like I said, I've got an Americano, so let's have a drink. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, I forget how much I like Americanos. I forget that. I was sitting in my kitchen thinking, what should I make to put in my mug for my floss tube? And I was like, hey, how about a classic? How about an Americano? Okay, enough coffee talk. Let's talk about cross stitch, my absolute favorite hobby, and hopefully it's yours. I have a couple of hobbies that I enjoy, but cross stitch is my #1 hobby. Okay, should we do an FO? Finished object. I have an FO for you. It will come as no surprise, because I think I talked about it last floss tube that I was really hoping to get a finish, and I did. The beach rat is complete. Isn't that great? So in terms of framing plans, I'll bring that a little closer so you can see the gloriousness that is the beach rat. And this, of course, is by the Artsy Housewife, who will be one of our 2 designers at the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit in September. But beach rat we're thinking a dark, either super dark brown or maybe even, you know, bold black frame to kind of match the boldness of the lettering. And you would think I would have that sitting in the pile of frames I picked up at Goodwill. Nah, not so much. So we gotta go shopping. we gotta go thrifting to see if I can find a frame. I'm sure we can. Something like that my husband could actually make out of molding from the hardware store. So if we can't find that we can cut down, we can definitely, and when I say we, I mean him, right? I mean the guy, the husband guy. He can create it for me. Yeah, so there we are, FO, finished object. Hopefully it will be an FO soon. I really want this up on my wall. This is going to look so cute in our nautical themed family room. Someday I might do a little video and show you my family room, because it's really cute. And there's quite a few cross-stitched things on the bookcases. Anyway, you know, an idea for a floss tube for another day. All right, WIPs. What did I stitch on? This will probably be a really quick floss tube because beyond stitching on Beach Rat and finishing that off, I've only got about 4 WIPs to show you, but they're good ones. They're faves. Of course, I am still working on Harbor Haven from By the Bay NeedleArts. So I am almost done with scene number 6, and then I will move on to scene number 7. And let's see here. Oh, there's lots of things flying out of the bag down here. All right, so this is stitched on a 32 count Weeks fabric. It's the old Weeks, so it's pretty floppy. And there we are. So that's scene 5, and this over here is scene 6. And so there is a gal kind of sitting under the tree. These are a couple little sheeps. So I've got to fill in this little bit over here and then polish off the grass. And there's some back stitching that will be like her needles. This is a ball, couple balls of yarn. But yeah, there I am on Harbor Haven. When I picked this up, I was, I think I had both of the sheep in, and I think I had the girl's hair. So I've gotten quite a bit done. I finished her dress. I've got the basket of yarn, and then working on all this hill. So I'm thinking maybe 45 minutes. We'll polish off the end of scene number 6 and then on to scene number 7. So that is very fun for me. Oh, and I just spotted my card. The fabric name is Seafoam. You'd think I would remember that. So there you are, 32 count Seafoam. It's the old Weeks. And I'm using all of the call for flosses, except for the water, which I've told you before. I subbed out a couple of overdyes because I wanted a little more variety in the water. But everything else is DMC, so super easy to kit up. Okay, so there we are on Harbor Haven. The next thing that I stitched on was something I don't think I've stitched on at all this year. I broke out the little Red Schoolhouse pin keep, and that's this guy, and this is by Pansy Patch, Quilts, and Stitchery, and I have gone crazy. I am stitching it on a 36 count, and this is Vintage Meadow Rue. It's by Lakeside Linen. So I'm stitching it 1/2, and the floss I'm using is a really nicely variegated floss. It's called Dracula by Color and Cotton. You can see the variegation a little bit better there. So anyway, I am working on the border. And now I have border anxiety because I'm like, oh, I hope this thing matches up when I'm done. Oh, I think this is the top. Sorry. So I am working on border, and it's been stitching up pretty good. I think when I picked it up, I had like just this top bit down here. It wasn't even all the way across. So I finished that, did that, and now I'm hoping that these two bits will meet. Cross your fingers, say a prayer, light a candle, do all that stuff. Anyway, I'm having a really good time stitching on this. I usually stitch, I've told you this a million times, I usually stitch in the evening. My husband and I will sit in the living room together, and I've got my stitching spot and my hot light and all that stuff, and we'll just watch TV together. And so I'm not paying as much attention to the show as he is, because I'm paying attention to my stitching. And I'm telling you, at one point I stopped stitching and my husband said, "What's the matter?" And I'm like, "Oh, I have border anxiety." And then I had to tell him what that meant. So anyway, there we are, a little Red Schoolhouse pin keep, and I don't know if you can see it. I don't know for sure what those two creatures are up there, but I've decided they're bunnies in honor of my backyard bunnies. So that'll be that'll be fun to get to stitch on the bunnies. Okay, what else have I stitched on? Okay, so there's two, Beach Rat and Little Red Schoolhouse Pin Keep. I also broke out Autumn Splendor, which is by Brenda Gervais, whose company is With Thy Needle and Thread. Gosh, that's shiny. Maybe I should take that out. Let me just do that really quick for you. So there we go. That's what it looks like. And this is stitched on also 36 count. It's Antique Ivory by Edinburgh Linen. And it couldn't be smaller. I always think it's going to be so much bigger. It's not that big. So when I picked it up, all of this exterior, I always think it looks like striped wallpaper. And you know, that flower motif was all done. And so I just started putting the crow in, as you can see. There's the crow. So I'm working on that crow, and then the wings are smeared acrosses. So I'm going to get all the cross stitching done, and then I will hoop the thing up so I can get those smeared acrosses in and have the threads lay nice and flat, because I don't think I can get it. I don't think I can get it done in hand, which is my preferred stitching method. So there's smeared acrosses on the wings, and there's a couple little decorative smeared acrosses kind of around that central motif. So I will need to break out my Nurge hoops. So when I do use a hoop, I like to use the Nurge. I'm not a Q snapper. I have got a girlfriend, my friend Lynn. Hi, Lynn. I gave her all my Q snaps because they're too big around, and they actually they hurt my hand after a while holding that big chunky Q snap. And Nurge hoops are much smaller in circumference, and so I don't have that problem. And so that's one of the things that I'm trying to, you know, give myself permission to let things go that don't work for me. And, you know, I'm not bashing Q snaps. There's a million people that love Q snaps, and that's great. And if it works for you, fantastic. You do what works for you. It just doesn't work for me. So I found something else. Okay, so there is my third WIP that I've worked on. And then the last WIP that I've worked on the last 2 weeks is Mkos Meadows by Avlea. Avlea Folk Embroidery. I want to put modern in there because of Jacob with Modern Folk Embroidery, but it's Avlea Folk Embroidery. So okay, here's the top. All right, so I finished off this motif last night when we were watching TV. We were watching Murderbot. If you're a science fiction fan like I am, you should watch Murderbot. It's really good. It's based on a series of books by an author, Martha Wells. As always, the books are better than the show because, of course, they can't, you know, they can't be as detailed, you know, in a show. But I'm like, I think they could have expanded the show just a little bit more to give you a little more context with the Murderbot, but it's still totally worth watching. So there we are, Mkos Meadows, and we are charging across the top. So I will definitely have this done by September for Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, because Krista West, who is Avlea Folk Embroidery, she is the second designer at Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. So I want to have a finish to show off to the designer. Don't we all though, right? Don't we all want to do that a little bit? So there's that. My husband and I are going to go out to the cabin tonight after he gets off work, and we're going to spend Friday night and then be there all day Saturday. I've got to be home for church on Sunday. The bishop of our church is going to be preaching Sunday, and I'm in the choir, and we're singing two super cool pieces for for the end of choir season, and also because the bishop is there. So it's going to be super fun, so I don't want to miss out on that. So we're just going to be out there just for Friday night, and then as late as I can push it on Saturday. And we have a number of chores that we want to do out there. And I'm hoping that once we get these chores done, it'll just be small little puttery things that we do for the rest of the summer, because my husband was complaining. He goes, every time we go to the cabin, there's a project. And it's true. It's true. Yeah. So anyway, the reason I thought about the cabin is I am going to take this with me because I want to get more progress on Mkos Meadow. But in my last FlossTube, I did tell you I bought that, was it Caterpillar Cross Stitch? Yeah, Caterpillar Cross Stitch had a kit for sale called Coastal Peaks. That's what it was. And so I did start that. I forgot to take a picture of it, but I did start that, and I left it at the cabin. So I do have a cabin stitch. I have a designated cabin stitch, but also, you've got to have variety in your life. So I'm going to take this along as well. So I have two things to stitch on at the cabin. We're going to be there for what, 36 hours? You got priorities, right? I've got priorities. So that's all my stitching. It was a pretty good 2 weeks, but I did have lots of days where I just stitched on the same piece, 2.5 days before I moved on to the next one. So I don't have quite as many things to share this time, but that's okay. All stitching is good stitching, right? So in terms of plans, let me tell you my plans. Reaching for my magazine monthly challenge across stick. So this one, our theme is candy shop. And so I've decided that there's probably a candy shop in that row of buildings in the seaside tiny town, because what beach coastal town doesn't have a good candy or taffy shop? So that's what I'm doing for the candy shop theme. And then along with that, our acrostic is sweets. And so for the S in sweets, I'm doing autumn splendor. So back to that crow and those smeared crosses. The W is for Artsy Housewife and Beach Rat, and I wanted to get a finish on that, and I did. By the 3rd of June, boom, it was done. The first E in sweets is going to be Owl Forest Embroidery, and I'm going to get back to Hyperborea, and I'm going to fix that little mistake on the bobcat that I pointed out on my last FlossTube. I haven't done that yet, so when I pick that up, that's the first thing I'm going to do is fix that one stitch that's wrong. The second E in sweets is going to be, there's emerald green water in Harbor Haven, so more stitching on Harbor Haven. The T in sweets is for travel. I would like to travel and see Mkos Meadows in person, if such a place exists. Okay, and the last one, the second S in sweets is for the Little Red Schoolhouse, and I've already worked on that. So I'm doing great on my acrostic this month. I was a bit of a failure in May. I had a couple things that I never got to, like I was supposed to stitch on the gnome, my mill hill. I don't think I got as many stitches in that as I proudly declared, but that's okay. And then for WIP Go, what are my June ones? I can't remember. I'll tell you next time. I can't remember, but I didn't complete all of my May stitching for WIP Go, so I need to finish. I need to go back and finish things that didn't get completed in May WIP Go. So I know one of them is stitch on a club kit, And I haven't stitched on my club kits, so definitely need to work on a club kit. Yeah. And then last time, or maybe it was the time before, I told you that I was going to give myself a couple new starts. And so I am going to start from I think this is the latest Just Cross Stitch magazine. I'm going to start Let Freedom Ring. And I'm trying, but I'm not being very successful. So there it is, just a long, skinny, patriotic pillow. And I pulled the flosses. I did not have all of the fancy flosses that they called for. I only had one, but the suggested DMCs, they look great. No problem there. Although I didn't like the red that they suggested. They suggested $355 for the red, and I'm going with $347. That one was a little orangey in my eyesight, so I made that switch. And then what I'm hoping, I do have to do a little measuring on the on this piece of Vintage Country Mocha. You can see there's this big section over here, and I'm thinking that when I trim out the beach rat, I'm thinking that will fit over here. And so this is what I'm going to use for Let Freedom Ring. So this is just 32 count Vintage Country Mocha, and I think that will look really nice. So I'm hoping maybe on Sunday, because we'll be in town, maybe I can have a new start on Sunday. So those are kind of my June plans, and what I've done so far in the little month of June. I mean, isn't today what, June 6th? Yeah, 6/6. It's my niece's 30th birthday. Happy birthday, Amelia, if you're watching. I don't think she watches. But just in case. And then I thought, because I don't have any haul, I've got 0 haul. I haven't done any purchasing, which is fine because the craft room is filled with good things to stitch. I thought I'd just tell you what books I'm reading. So, books. I am still reading. I'm about halfway. I'm still reading Tabby or Not Tabby by Eryn Scott. This is, you guys, this is not very big. This is a really quick read. The reason I haven't finished it yet is I keep going to bed, and then my husband joins me and I have to turn out the light. Otherwise I think I'd be done. But even though it's not very big, it's delightful, and it's really well written. I think Eryn is an excellent writer. So if you need a quick little cozy mystery with cats in a bookstore, this might be for you. Okay, the in-person book club I go to with my cousin. The book that we're reading this month is Crying in H Mart. This is a memoir, and I'm like on chapter 3. and book club is in like 2.5 weeks. I got to get on it. So those are my 2 paper books. And then for the band book club at the bookstore in Burien, Washington, I am actually listening to it on audio. Our band book this month is, let's see if I can expand that, yeah, is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. So that's our band book for the month of June. And I've actually read this before. I think I'm getting more out of it the second reading. There are things that I don't remember from the first reading. So anyway, excellent book. Angie Thomas, also fantastic writer. Fantastic. Like the character voices, I hear them in my head. Like I hear their cadence, I hear them speaking. Yeah, excellent book. Excellent book. You know, trigger warnings, you know, we talk about you know, murder. So anyway, police violence. Before you read it, check the trigger warnings online. Make sure it's something that wouldn't be too upsetting to you. So anyway, you know, excellent book. Check the trigger warnings. Okay, you guys, that's it. That's all I've got for you today. A really quick little visit, but I wanted to get in here and say hello. Yeah, I hope June is going well for you, and I'm gonna go finish my Americano and start packing to go to the cabin. So I will see you, I'm hoping, in 2 weeks, and have a great couple of weeks. Enjoy your stitching, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye friends, happy stitching.